Right, good morning, welcome back. Now this is a short project to swap the fuel tank on my Softail Street Bob. Now this is a popular upgrade. They come from the factory with a small, slightly squared off 3-gallon tank, and fitting a 5-gallon traditional Harley tank gives you obviously better fuel range and I think, in my opinion, better looks as well. Now this is a pretty expensive conversion when you consider all the components you need to do the job. So I'm looking to save a little bit by making my own center console for the middle of the tank. Now I made a start in the last video. This was the result. I'll leave a link to that video at the end of this one. And today I want to curve it to follow the lines of the tank and obviously put some sides in it as well to stand it off the surface. Let's do it. Right, now, just as a plan to outline, share thoughts with you, what I'd like to try and do is use pieces of tubing. This is standard 1-inch tube, and I want to try and bend it to the profile of the tank so that this itself, the tubing, forms the standoff part that I can then weld the top part onto. And once that's welded on top of that piece of curved tube, it will follow the form. I can easily roll that flat plate and that will have a nice rounded edge. So it will roll forward and it'll have a rolled off edge as well. So that will look quite organic, quite a nice look, hopefully, if I can make it work. What I need for the job to bend this tube in perfectly is a mandrel tube bender. Well, I don't have one of those. We can't have everything. That's a very expensive piece of professional kit. What I do have is a basic 12-ton pipe bender. And I think little bit, I possibly can bend that to the right profile. I mean, once it's welded, I can grind out any imperfections anyway, so hopefully this should work. It's just a theory. If it doesn't work, I'll have to think of something else. So wish me luck. Let's see how we get on.
She wakes up early Monday morning, drags her bones out of bed, goes across to the mirror to see the image in her head. Oh, this town she lives in has got her back against the wall. Oh, this town she lives in has given her nothing at all. Walks down pavement strewn with memories, try and grasp at her feet, but she just walks right on through them, hands in pockets buried deep. Oh, this town she lives in, seen the best and worst of her. Oh, this town she lives in has tried its best to keep her down. Buildings tell the same old stories. They long to see better days, but the faces switching through the curtains, they only long to see out today. Oh, this town we live in has gotten us all to change. Oh, this town we live in has made us look the other way. Oh, this town we live in has got our backs against the wall. Oh, this town
Well, there we are. Now that took the day to make that. Most of the time was just on bending those tubes to the exact same curve as each other with a bender that's not designed for the job. And I think I've done okay with that. There's a few ripples in the tube, but I can get rid of those with bodywork, filler and that in the end. That's not a problem. That's always been intended. But the most important thing is when I put it on there now, after about 5 hours, that sits dead square on the tank and dead flat. No movement at all. So I'm happy with that. I want to perfect it a little bit more. I want to grind out a few of the bumps just to make sure it's as smooth as it can be in metal only. And then the next one will be to take the metal sheet that I made last time with these points in. And I've got to curve that on the English wheel to fit that precise ellipse so it sits perfectly flat on there, and then weld it on all the way down and grind that back so it's one long piece of metal. And I've got to shave it obviously to that taper as well. So there's a lot more of this to do in the next one. That's been this one. Really enjoyed it. I'm challenging myself for this beyond anything I've ever done, and that to me is what it's all about. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.